I'm gonna try to keep my composure.
A few moments later.
His very first move as the executive was to sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack.
Growing up, OGs used to be somebody who had wisdom. They were like a street philosopher. You know, they weren't perfect, but they had life experience. It came with a lot of tough love, and you just respected them. You know, they'll tell you, you know, get your money up, keep your mind. You know, don't be out here chilling like going to crib. You know, you go to the barbershop, you'll probably hear their takes about basketball. They don't know what they're talking about. But over the years, old heads have digressed into a bitter generation of people who just be hating. Honestly, we just want to be real. They just be hating. And it's not even just the hating. I mean, you got people out here like Steven Jackson, who is in his 40s. I don't know how old he is, but he's going to Chicago and checking in. Like he's on the block every day. We got people like Jim Jones who refuses to, like, they just refuse to grow up. They're doing the same things that, you know, Lil Man doing. Like, they're not role models anymore. They're ONs. They just old niggas on the block now. It's crazy. I think you can separate old heads nowadays into 3 different categories. All right, here, bear with me. So you have the old hater, the old person who just can't let go of their time. You know, they think that their time was better. They think that if they were in their prime right now, they'll be the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? You can't tell them no wrong. They know everything. You know nothing. Their time, they were way more elite. They were better. They were stronger. They were faster. And this archetype is seen in Stephen A. Smith. Now, we all know Stephen A. Smith, you know, First Take. He's always been, you know, that type of guy. But the thing about Stephen A. Smith, especially recently, he just been hating. And he always been a hater. You know, we can talk about the Kyrie Irving obsession. You know, when Kyrie was doing the vaccine and the pandemic and all that, he was on Kyrie head all the time, talking about everything. And it's always personal with Stephen A. You know, Stephen A. he the type of person, he never can keep it basketball. You know, he one of them old heads. He gotta tear you down, your character. And it's crazy because old heads like Stephen A., I mean, he averaged like 2 points. He averaged like 2 points in high school or college. Like, he sucked at the sport. He's never been good athletically. You know, like, he's just been an average Joe who just, you know what I mean? Obviously, he worked hard, you know, in his communications and all that. But he just has so much, you know, so much scrutiny for somebody who didn't accomplish much. You know what I mean? These are these type of old heads, these super bitter old heads, you know. They always talk the most and they always got the most to say, but they never did the things that they critique. Like, you called me trash. You say, you know, the old heads, get up and go work a job. I can't work as the newspaper boy for 20 years in this economy and, you know, get my pension and buy a house and support it and have a family across the town. You know what I mean? It's not the time we live in no more. So they are just people, they just have crazy double standards. They have no, like, they kind of like, they don't know what's going on in the real world. I think a lot of it is just they're oblivious. I think they just, you know, they watch the news and they just apply their scenario to everybody else. And that's just how they think the world works. And it's sad, but them type of old heads, they always have to be right. You can never get them out of their shell. Like, it's literally, it's their persona versus reality. Like, and their persona in their mind is always the top tier. You can't say nothing to them. It's actually insane. For the next one, we got the freaky old head. Now, this the old head who kind of like the OG, and he probably done did his thing, but he never really got the wisdom. You know what I mean? He's still freaking, he ain't married. He telling you got a girlfriend that you love. He telling you, hey, nephew, leave that bitch. She ain't nothing. Like, you feel me? He one of them. Like, he gonna always try to, they gonna support you, but at the same time, they kind of gonna lead you. You can't follow them. I ain't gonna say they gonna lead you somewhere, but you cannot follow them. You gotta kind of like let them do stuff. Like, they still be, and you know what I mean? You can't listen to them. And for this example, this archetype is Shannon Sharp. You know what I mean? You see now recently, he just had a little controversy where, I mean, he 50, 60, he fucking with 19-year-olds. He talking to girls who younger than his kids. He talking to girls who old enough to be his granddaughter, like probably the same age as his granddaughters. Like, that's the type of timing he on. You feel me? These are the weird, freaky old heads. These the old heads that be like, they be around and you respect them, you know what I mean? But they just ignorant. Like, they never really grew up. So they probably got them some money, you know, they done came into some success, but they just, you know what I mean? You don't listen to them. These old heads you don't listen to. Please remember that. You do not listen to these type of old heads. These are the old heads that's going to lead you down the wrong path, and they going to end up really screwing you over, and it's just going to be like, nah. But they be cool people, though. Don't get me wrong. This the unc at the cookout and be like, I see your nephew, but he looking at your bid. He really wants your bid. You feel me? You brought, he got 40 years on you, and he's trying to get at your girl. You can't even leave her alone to go get her own plate, or you walk out, you feel me? You come back, unc at your girl, or he making her uncomfortable and shit. He one of them. But at the same time, they so real though. They gonna always keep it real with you. So it's like, you know, they unfiltered, you know what I mean? They, you know what I mean? They be like a granddad unc. But they good people though. They pillars of the community. Don't get me wrong. We need people like that. So we ain't too mad at them. But yeah, we gonna move on to the next one. Now this next archetype is the holy grail of old heads, right? These are the best old heads. These are the people who they done invested when they was younger. They got the big house. They got the wife and kids. These are the old heads that you look up to. You know what I mean? You look to them and you say, dang, I need to follow it. And they'll put you on game. And these are people who you're going to be like, damn, I want to be like them when I grow up. And for this archetype, you know who I had to do? My boy Bron. You seen the thumbnail. Bron was, yeah, LeBron. LeBron James is the perfect example of this. LeBron James is happily married for the last 20-something years. He got kids who healthy, doing their thing. You feel me? He probably got some pets running around. He got the big house. He's successful. These the old heads that always put you down on game. They ain't never gonna hate on the younger generation. These the old heads we need to aspire to be. You know what I mean? They gonna always look out for you, give you advice. They want you to be better than them. You know what I mean? This like your dad. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when people be like, I just want you to be better than me, son. These type of old heads. These motherfuckers, they really genuinely like put their pride to the side, and they don't care if the next generation better than them. You know what I mean? And this is a small portion of the community, very small portion. This is like maybe 5%, maybe lower of the community who actually acts like this and will shout out. You feel me? Actually help motherfuckers out and try to lead the next generation to greatness. It's very rare. Like, it's like a shift. It's been like old heads like this, a shift from like preaching to partnering. You know, it's more like mentorship. You know what I mean? It's more about conversation than just correction. You know what I mean? They use their platform to teach you, and then they adjust to the language of today. You know, they're not behind. They don't believe everything they see on the internet. They're not getting scammed on Facebook and making the young girls uncomfortable. Like, nah, they mix wisdom, you know, with the relevance of today. And they put you down on game. You know what I mean? So yeah, but everybody should be striving to be like that old head. Not the first two, the LeBron of the old heads. But yeah, that's all I want to talk to y'all about. You know, the art of old head, the beauty of old heads. And yeah, it's been your boy Forte, man. I appreciate y'all if y'all stayed this long, man. Y'all probably hearing this message, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, it's been your boy Forte, and I'm out, bro. Peace.